All right, let's talk about creatine. It is, without a doubt, one of the most effective and most researched supplements out there. The thing is, there's a really good chance you're using it all wrong, which means you're wasting money and missing out on some serious gains. So we're going to break down the science and get this sorted out for good. So the big question is, are you wasting your creatine? I mean, if you're one of those people just dry scooping it or mixing it with a bit of water right before you hit the gym, yeah, you might literally be getting half the benefits you paid for. But don't worry, we're about to go through a super simple, science-backed protocol that could double your absorption and really maximize your results safely. You know, the most common mistakes are the ones you see everywhere. People are buying these super expensive, hyped-up versions of creatine, they're taking it with nothing but water, and their timing is just way off. We're going to fix all of that. But first, we need to understand the science behind it. Right, so to really get how to use creatine the right way, we got to look at how it actually works inside your body. It all boils down to what's happening in your cells when you're pushing hard in a workout. Okay, let's talk about something called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. This stuff is basically rocket fuel for your muscles. It's the immediate, explosive energy you need for those big, heavy lifts. Think of it like the cash your muscles spend to get work done. Now, here's the crazy part. Imagine ATP is like a tiny, explosive battery inside every muscle cell. The catch? This battery drains fast, like really fast. When you're in the middle of a tough set, you can burn through your entire supply in just a few seconds. It's the reason you can't just keep lifting your 1 rep max over and over. And this is where creatine comes in to save the day. It's like the ultimate pit crew for your muscle cells. Its whole job is to swoop in and recharge those batteries, to regenerate that ATP at lightning speed. And what does that mean for you? It means you can grind out those extra 1 or 2 reps that you couldn't before. And that is where the real growth happens. But here's a really interesting thing about creatine. Not everyone responds to it in the exact same way. The science shows that some people, we call them high responders, get way more out of it. These are usually people with a lot of those type 2, fast-twitch muscle fibers, the explosive ones, and people who just naturally have lower creatine levels to begin with. If you're one of them, you'll probably notice you gain a few pounds when you start. Don't freak out, that's just water being pulled into your muscle cells, which is exactly what you want. Okay, enough theory. Let's get into the practical side of things. How do we actually build the perfect creatine plan? Well, it all starts with what you buy and how you start taking it. Walk into any supplement store and you'll get blasted with marketing for all these fancy creatines, right? Creatine HCl, ethyl ester, they all claim to be better, to absorb more. Here's the truth, backed by mountains of research. Those claims are pretty much unfounded. The best, most proven, and get this, the cheapest form is still just plain old creatine monohydrate. So yeah, bottom line, save your money. Don't fall for the hype. The only, and I mean only reason to even think about trying a different form is if regular monohydrate gives you some stomach issues. For pretty much everyone else, it's just a waste of cash. All right, so you've got your creatine monohydrate. How do you start? You've basically got 2 choices, and both are backed by science. Option 1 is a loading phase. You take about 20 grams a day for a week to saturate your muscles super fast. Option 2, just start with the regular 3 to 5 gram maintenance dose from day 1. The loading phase gets you to full saturation quicker, but after a month or so, the end result is exactly the same. So it's really up to you. Oh, and can we please bust this myth once and for all? You do not need to cycle creatine. I don't know where this started, but it just won't die. The research is very clear. Taking it long-term is perfectly safe, and it won't make your body stop producing its own creatine. Just find your dose and stay on it. Consistency is key. Okay, now for the part you've been waiting for, the real secret sauce. This is the one simple tweak that can make your creatine almost twice as effective, and it's all about what you take it with. So, the first ingredient in this power combo is carbohydrates. Yep, research has shown that taking your creatine with around 47 grams of simple carbs causes an insulin spike that dramatically helps shuttle that creatine into your muscle cells. And to make it even better, you add protein. Combining about 50 grams of protein with those carbs and your creatine, well, that creates an even bigger insulin response, maximizing absorption and making sure your muscles hang on to as much of that creatine as possible. Just look at the difference here. If you take creatine with just water, sure, it works. That's your baseline. But when you combine it with that protein and carb mixture, whoa, you're looking at nearly double the absorption and storage in your muscles. You're getting so much more bang for your buck. It's a total game changer. So, what does all this mean for timing? Well, it makes things pretty simple, actually. When are you most likely having a big meal or shake that's packed with protein and carbs? For most of us, it's right after a workout. So it just makes perfect sense. The most effective time to take your creatine is post-workout, along with that recovery meal. Okay, finally, let's tackle the myths and the fears. Because man, there is a lot of crazy stuff floating around the internet about creatine. So let's separate the actual science from all that online panic. And here it is, the big one, the number one fear you hear about. Creatine causes hair loss. It's this idea that one of the best muscle-building supplements in the world is going to make all your hair fall out. It's a scary thought for sure, but where did this idea even come from? Well, believe it or not, this entire global panic comes down to a single study from way back in 2009 that has never been replicated since. And get this, the study didn't even look at hair loss. It just showed an increase in a hormone that's associated with hair loss. There is no direct scientific evidence linking creatine supplementation to actually losing your hair. The link just isn't there. So what are the actual side effects that have been shown over and over in tons of studies? Well, you might gain a little weight, but that's water weight inside your muscles, which is a good thing. Some people might get a bit of stomach cramping, which is almost always fixed by just drinking more water, or maybe a little diarrhea, which you can solve by just taking smaller doses throughout the day. And that's basically it. Seriously. Look, at the end of the day, creatine is an amazing, safe, and effective tool, but only if you use it the right way. So the real question for you is, now that you've seen the science, are you going to stop wasting it and start pairing your creatine with that post-workout meal tomorrow?